inventory. So if you just look down at the next part, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being false, 10 being true, just do a little inventory with yourself. For example, I am not stressed about finances. Where are you on that little inventory? I am debt-free. Where are you with that? So I'll just give you a minute to just kind of rate yourself.
Oh, hi, kids. So on this part, turn it off, or should I?
No, you can leave it on. Just leave it on. Just leave it on. There you go. And that's something, I've got to figure out how to upload some documents. Like you know how people...
And also, as you're doing that, you'll see the income disclosure at the bottom of that page. I put another copy of the income disclosure that's much easier to read in your packet. So you'll be able to see. And I'm finding it's pretty accurate because I hit the rank of silver the month of November, and my checks and things, they're running a little bit over what it says the average is. So, and actually when I was executive, I was over the high end of things. So I find it to be pretty accurate, the amounts that they say. Just, you know, so you know. Because to me, I hear about things, but it means so much more when I'm really talking to someone who's actually doing it. You know what I mean? It's all good on paper, you know, but until you live it, you know.
And so, and then there's one other paper that I want you to pay attention to, and it's called the pros and cons paper. So today, if you can just kind of keep that at, you know, keep it close, because what are the pros? Maybe
That to them, the pro side paper, because I don't know if I put it in the.
Oh, you didn't put it in?
I didn't think I had that. I don't think I made a copy of it.
Oh, so you did it?
So could they just do that
on
on
the
a piece
back.
of on the back?
Just do it on the back.
On the back, make a pro and con,
And
draw a
then,
line.
yeah, like a T-chart, pro, con, and on the back. So, you know, some of the pros could be, I would like an extra $200 a month to be able to buy my oils, or I'm very interested in actually, you know, having a business. I want to be able to pay off student loans.
What's the pro cons list for?
Just the pros, like
In your mind.
In your mind, you can just make a little list. But what, you know, when I thought about doing this myself, like
Of having a
pros,
business.
I thought, oh, this is a great opportunity for retirement for me. What can I do next? Because I'm 56 years old and I'm not done yet. You know,
Right.
what am I going to be when I grow up? Kind of thing. So, you know, I think of this, that's one of the pros, is like I want to do something in my 60s and I don't necessarily want to be a principal at age 65. So this is a pro for me. But then there are the cons, and the cons are those negative voices in your head. And so as we're going through and we're talking about things, you're going to have negative voices pop up in your head. You're going to have those negatives. And so jot those down. You know, nobody would ever come to my house, or I can't talk to people, or whatever it is.
I don't have any friends.
I don't have any friends.
Whatever. Somebody
Where's
said that.
Carol? And Carol would not mind if we said this, and Carol, she'll be here. She literally sat where you're saying, said, I don't think I could ever do this. I don't have any friends. Do you remember saying that? And now she's got like 22 people under her.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, but that was very real. The negative voices in your head are very real. And
So write it down.
So write them down. It's just so you're aware of them. So if you, as we go through today, if a negative voice pops in your head, write it down. If a positive pops in your head, write that down too. Just kind of keep that going. We'll address it at the end. Okay, I think we took care of housekeeping stuff.
Okay.
We need Envision though. Do you have Envision?
Oh, yeah.
So this next part is the vision building. Is it up there?
I think that is. I have it right. Here's like, I have another bottle if we need to open it because I don't know how much is left. So what we're going to get into next is vision casting. And at first, and actually my husband would be making fun of me right now because he used to, like, I always told him when we first got together, he would start writing down things he wanted. This is Cassidy, his daughter too, and my daughter. He would say, well, you got to write down your plans. And I'm like, oh, I don't have time for that. I mean, I went to college, I knew what I wanted to do, and I did it. You know, why do you have to write everything down? But I don't think I was, I know. It's not that I don't think. I just wasn't thinking big enough, though. I always knew I taught my baby dolls from the time I was little and wanted to be a teacher, so that was a dream, and I accomplished that, and I'm thankful and blessed for that. But then, like Diane said, I'm getting older. I have other dreams. But I don't think, as myself, I don't know if I can speak for you guys, we're not used to dreaming big.
No.
And it's hard to do. Because when you, if that isn't coming out, I have another bottle. So.
Was that in Vision or
Yeah,
That's envision.
Okay.
So envision yourself where you could be.
So we need to practice this, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it to you guys because I have found I've been definitely proven wrong on that. That when you're getting, yes, your small dreams that are very accomplishable, those maybe you don't need to write down, and you can accomplish those pretty easily. Some of your bigger dreams, it's a little tough. So getting these things down and practicing positive thinking and thinking about who you're surrounding yourself with, all really critical keys to achieving your dreams. So, I mean, that's just one thing I wanted to share. Oh, and another thing, like, so you're going to do something in your, oh, wait for a minute. This one's Carol Company.
So hopefully Marley and her husband at the same time.
This is just something you got to get used to.
Yeah, no,
I just always feel bad because I feel bad people have
I hate
missed
them to miss
things.
stuff.
And I feel
Oh, yeah.
like in my classroom,
Yeah.
I have to get them caught up, lady, because I'm
I
doing
know, I
this
love
business.
that.
And Bob goes, I think we should add a Y, bossy lady.
I've been carrying my boss lady cup around. Greg's like, nice. Yeah.
Nice.
So in your folder, those of you that just came in, your folder, you have an agenda there. You've got a pro and con paper. Well, no, you don't have a pro and con paper. You have an inventory. And so the inventory is just to kind of give you an idea of where you are. Today we just want to give you the vision of the whole lifestyle, and that there are lots of possibilities here. What I love about this company is that we never thought we'd ever do any kind of network marketing at all or any of that, but we love the products, and this company's product driven. So if you love your products, it naturally you just want to share the products. So the possibilities are endless, from just being able to afford your products once a month, all the way to I want to do something different with my life. I want to have a business. So as I was sharing, I'm not really ready for retirement yet because it's a long ways away, but I am going to be 56 this month, and I keep thinking, what do I want to do next? I'm not done growing up yet, and so this really appealed to me because I thought, wow, there's a lot of opportunities here. So you have Envision. And we were just talking about how we're vision casting, right?
Right, so I was getting into vision casting, and I just shared, I'm not going to repeat a big long story, but in a nutshell, I always wanted to be a teacher, and I had dreams of that. And when I got together with my husband, he was big on writing things down. You know, when you have things you want to accomplish, and I used to say, oh, I don't have time to write that down. I went to college. I can figure out what I want to do. Why are you writing all that stuff down? And now I'm realizing, aha, he had a point. Because when you start to dream bigger, it is super important to keep your thoughts positive. Write things down. Really try to feel those things, because our thoughts have frequency. And when I say frequency, I don't mean some new age kind of frequency. I mean that, God made us and made the oils with energy in them. So whether, we've all walked into a room and you feel like something's wrong, like, what's going on? Because you're feeling that energy from people. So we want to foster, and it's impossible, I know, to feel like really up here all the time. But the more we can do that and surround ourselves with positive people and hold our thoughts captive, a lot of this stuff is biblical too, then the more likely we are to have success and to reach those dreams. And if we're not taking time to vision cast, I think, and feel those things, whatever it is, whether you want to do Young Living or whatever you want to be a great mom or whatever in your career, then it's going to be more difficult to reach those goals. So vision casting is just a really cool thing. So some things I found as I was doing some research for this: people greatly overestimate what they can do in a year, but they really underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So think about this. You eat a little piece of a Snicker every day. You think, not a big deal. But the accumulation of that over a year, you might have gained a few pounds, even though it was just a fourth of a Snickers. But if you took the time to go for a 10-minute walk, even if you don't have time for an hour walk or a workout at the Y, but you go for a 10-minute walk at your lunch break every single day, over a year, you might have dropped some weight. So it's the same thing, whether it be Young Living or whatever you're doing. We've got to hold, and it's hard for some people who their minds don't operate this way. I'm pretty lucky because I can multitask. I just can do that. But you can do this too. I look at those little pieces of time like little diamonds, like little nuggets of time. And that might be, as you start your Young Living journey, you have a full-time job, you're raising kids, but those little pieces of time can be gems. And you can get so much done daily just in these little chunks of time. So as you're vision casting and doing this, think about that. You don't have to think of, oh my gosh, there's so much to know. You don't have to know everything. You really don't. And those little chunks of time really help. Let me see what else here. Oh, well, this is good too. So, like I do this. I'm not a morning person. Or my friend Cindy, she wouldn't care if I said this, like, oh, I'm just a tired person, I come home and I have to take a nap. Okay, you might be kind of like, that's your personality a little bit, but you guys, these are habits, and that they don't define us. And if you vision casting, and we'll get into goal setting later, you can change those things. It's more, what did I write down here? It doesn't define you. It's definitely like a habit. And as you get to learn more about these oils, and things like that, they can really help enhance and change those habits so that you're doing things, to benefit your life. And we really only have one life, so why not dream big? Time's gonna pass either way. Like I started using this stuff, and this isn't a 101 class, so I'm not gonna get into my story, but it's been about 3 years since I started using Young Living. In March, it'll be 2 years. I'm a 3rd grade teacher. But it's been 2 years since I started having classes. Well, that time would have passed either way. And so I figured, why not try it, Because you have one life. If you have dreams, you should go for them. We also need to be comfortable with residual income. Residual income is what you can make in something like Young Living that I never understood. We're all trading time for money right now, which is fine. I'm a teacher. My husband has a construction company. We trade time for money, time for money. But the possibilities with this are amazing, because as you get a team started and people are using products and sharing, no matter, even if it's just a little bit and you're not doing this full go, you can literally be making money while you're sleeping. You can get on the phone the next day and go, wowza, my OGV, which we'll get into the details in another class, that's how much has sold under you and people you've shared with. It just went up $2,000. I was in bed. I've never experienced anything like that before. So that's another reason I wanted to dream. And anything else here I wanted to say? Oh, just that the whole thing with the conscious and the subconscious. This is cool. Your subconscious. Darla and I took a class with this lady, Melissa Pepping. She's this, I'll show you the book later when I get to the class stuff. But she taught a lot and shared. She works on your self-confidence. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between, and this is scientifically proven by people who study this stuff. It doesn't know the difference between fact and fiction. So if you tell yourself, like, I'm going to start working out, I am a thin, healthy person, I'm a thin, healthy person. It sounds goofy, but instead of saying, like, I'm a fat, piece of crap or whatever, you're thinking positive. Pretty soon your subconscious, like, that energy's in you. Then your conscious starts making decisions that will get you to your goal. So that's another reason it's so important to have these
Exactly. Yes.
So did you want to do that activity?
Yes. So I came across this activity that kind of proves the subconscious conscious thing, and so like I said, we're going to have you doing all kinds of stuff today, but I want everyone to stand up and just put your arms out here. Close your eyes. Okay, so stretch your arms out. Close your eyes, and I want you to picture or visualize me putting a 5-gallon stainless steel bucket in your right hand. Okay, so you can feel that bucket. It's in there. It's a stainless steel 5-gallon bucket in your hand. Now, I am going to drop a 5-pound gold bar in there. Okay? Now I'm going to drop another 2 5-pound gold bars. 3 5-pound gold bars. 4 5-pound gold bars. Let's add one more. Let's make it 5-pound gold bars. But we're not done yet. Now I'm going to pour some sand in there just to fill up all the little crevices. Okay? So sand all the way up to the top. Everything is filled up. Now open your eyes. So what did you feel? Did you feel like your hands started to go, or your arm feeling heavy? Now you weren't actually holding that.
I kept thinking, I gotta keep my arm up because I gotta keep that bucket up. I was like fighting this way because I didn't want to go that way.
Yes, and I did the same thing as you. I thought, okay, it's getting heavier, but I gotta keep pulling it up. I gotta keep pulling it up. that's just the idea of how you were never holding one, but that was the idea that your subconscious has a lot of control over your body and what you believe and think. What do you think about that? Because Michelle never did it before. It's
No, it was
now.
cool. I mean, it's weird how when you're thinking and focusing on something like that, it affects things.
You
And
could
it's,
feel, and I could
but
see
it's not
Joanne's
real.
you going down. I could kind of see Joanne's going down too, because you could feel it going down. So just being aware that your subconscious has a lot to do with how you feel. So if you're telling yourself, "I could never do this. I could never do this. You will never do it." But if you're telling yourself that you're a smart, confident person and that you have lots to offer, and then yes, you do, and you're going to act that way. And I think that's what you were saying. Like then you draw that in.
And another thing that I've heard too is that you could, and it's so hard for people who we're all different personalities, but they really want to know all the details and exactly how to do something. With not just Young Living, but with a lot of things, you just got to go with the plan. Like Martin Luther King, said, "I have a dream. I have a dream." But it's God that said, I don't know the exact Bible quote. Some of you probably do. The plans I have for you. Like you got to let some of this stuff go. And just if you want to go for something in life, you should just go for it. If you have a dream, and don't let the details will fall into place later, and you can work on those a little bit at a time. Mm-hmm. So this is a video. We had so many, so we just pulled a few that we thought would be kind of helpful to what we're talking about.
And I tried to write the videos down on your agenda, so it's a YouTube and have the name, so you can go watch it later.
Beware of
Can you guys see it over there?
You can make it
Train.
bigger on the bottom.
and passion
I don't know if
kill
this is the right one.
family and friends.
Prove them wrong.
In most cases. Sad to even.
It's not? I don't know if it is or not.
Bring your computer up here.
Because it was the one we wanted with, we had
Prove
it on.
them wrong.
Yeah, the one with the Jim Carrey.
Oh, I think Jim Carrey's in here.
Is he? Okay, might be.
Yeah, and then we can make it big right here.
Michelle, you'll have to scoot back or come here for this. Sorry.
It's okay. Proof anyone can make it.
Family and friends.
Oh,
in
what
most
proof
cases.
anyone can make it.
First,
Okay. All done.
Hold on.
Okay.
We're little.
Grab some yogurt with lemon oil in it.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Prove them wrong.
Prove them wrong.
That's
the one.
Proof anyone can make it. No, proof anyone can make it. I guess that was right. I guess we were
Anyone
right.
can make it. Okay.
I guess that was it. Proof that anyone
4
can
minutes,
make it.
31? That's all right?
Yeah, 4 minutes.
Okay.
We'll see. Maybe I was right. If not, it looks like it's good. We'll just.
I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe.
You have a clear picture in your head of something is going to happen, a clear belief in that it will happen no matter what.
And I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. But then, just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to $10 million on the number.
I learned a lot from Jim Carrey on that show, and he is absolutely correct. If you can see it and believe it, it is a lot easier to achieve it.
If you can see it here, and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen.
If you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
You attract not just what you feel, you attract what you feel, what you are.
If they have a very clear vision, a very clear goal of where you want to go. Because only then you will get there.
Make a choice. Like you just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide.
I need to walk up like I don't achieve things that are unthinkable and impossible.
Like attracts like. You have to understand, you are a magnet. Whatever you are, that's what you draw to you.
Visualization works if you work hard.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't just visualize and go eat a sandwich.
I like that.
Sometimes people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves.
Well, no,
They don't
is it?
put it out there.
Okay, that's this. Okay. So this is kind of cool, and some of your names might be in here. So when I started, what really got me going in this, I started using these oils, loving them, having the results and stuff. And then this cute little girl, Sarah Harnish, she's not on our team or anything. She's an upper person. We've actually met her. She came out with this book, and so I thought, oh, okay, cool. It like shows me how to do this because I don't know what I'm doing. At this point, not many of you guys were involved in it. And there was this workbook thing, and so I started writing down, what some of my dreams would be in it, and like what I'd like to accomplish. Well, the crazy thing is, because I'd never done that, because I made fun of my husband for doing that. And so then I looked back and I'm like, dang, this stuff happened, and it's in here, you guys. I could actually read some of it, but it's just like the strangest
what's
thing.
one thing that maybe you put in there?
Oh, I put your names. Like Marcy's name was on there, your name was on there, your name was on there. Not everybody's name was on there, sorry. They're here. And it was just like, wow. And then I said, yeah, I think that I can, because it said starter kit to silver. And I'm like, what is a silver? And I have my starter kit. So I thought, okay, I can be a silver. So I wrote that down, I'll be a silver in 2 years. Well, I hit silver in November. In March, it'll be 2 years. So yeah, it's kind of crazy how that can really work. So I didn't actually do the check activity, but I did do that with another video on my own. So I thought we could do that. That we could actually, this is from the Universal Bank of Abundance, so we can pass her and just date it. What do you guys think we should do? Just like date it for
a year from now.
Yeah, like January 2020.
Yeah.
If you did,
I'm going to go 2 years, 2021.
No, what year? What would you?
I like that.
Abundance.
Okay.
What? Write it to yourself, and the person that signs the check is Mary Young. And so sign it Mary Young, and write yourself out a check for what could really make a difference in your life. Because if you look on the income disclosure, it's in your folder. It's around $200 a month, the average executive. What would that be like? And it's silver.
It's senior star.
Or senior stars, 200.
Executives around $500 to $700 a month. Senior stars around $200 to $300 a month. And so
Pretty conservative.
I know.
it's the average. It's the average. Yeah. Yeah. There were a lot of months that I had more than
Marcy,
that.
can you let the dogs out for me? She said they were going to the door and stuff.
So, like Michelle said, last year at this time in January, I sat down and I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to make a commitment. I am going to make the commitment to do this for a year. To actually start having classes and share and come to Michelle's classes. And I had just hit Senior Star in December. So, and then January, I did hit, no, I don't think I did in January, but February I did. So anyways, I thought, I'm just for a year, I'm just going to do this, put effort into it. Now again, I'm a principal at a school, so, I'm like you guys, time is very, very important, so how do I make it all fit? But priorities and just doing it a little bit here and there. And I hit executive, and I wrote down that I'd actually like to be making this amount of money, about $500 or $600 a year from now. So I'm really excited about that because I just got my first $500 check.
How exciting.
So it's just. So where do you want to be in a year? What would you like?
And then you can save this and look back, because like we said before at the beginning, you might not want to go full go into this, but there's so many opportunities for self-development, for learning about healthy products that can support your wellness and make you feel better, to the friendships that you can make. And we're doing it. So if no matter how little or how big you want to get involved in it, we're here to help you. We have classes here regularly. We will go with you and have classes. So, we'll support you. It's not like you have to do this on your own. So it's actually going to be easier for you than it was for me when I picked up these books and thought, okay, what's a silver? Because we're actually here doing it.
If you could never visualize yourself like up where they're at, it doesn't have to. We are very fortunate because we can bring people to Michelle if we want.
And Diane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can tell you for a fact, I've told so many of these guys since I've done it, because no matter what the problem, what the situation is, you know, it's easy to see like, oh, yeah, they're telling me to do this, and then they have never even done it themselves. I can guarantee you, like, if you really want to become a silver, I can help everyone in this room become a silver. Now, beyond silver, I haven't done it yet, so I can't promise you that. But it's going to take visualization, it's going to take working on yourself, it's going to take time and work.
And what's the medium range a month that a silver makes?
It's on that chart. I think it's around 2,000.
I know. I wanted you to say it out loud.
I think it's around it.
Not a year.
That's a leading
question. That was a leading question.
You know, I do not have young children
A month.
right now, but I teach full time, and I've been teaching for 28 years. So it's not like I'm just looking at this in reality. I'm not saying it's easy, but I've been teaching 28 years, so I pretty much have my routine down at school. But I'm doing this, holding, I was doing 2 classes a month. Now I'm doing 3 to 4, working with my leaders and everybody, and I'm able to do it. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. You know?
Where for me, I thought last year at this time, if I could just have a class a month. 1 class a month, that's all I can do is 1 class a month. But then knowing that I can always bring somebody to Michelle's for the 2nd class, and then just talking to people, just sharing what I love. And so that's just kind of snowballed into where it is now.
And you've really taken advantage of the Facebook.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Good.
But the biggest thing is that whole frequency, and we can get into that in other classes, but that, your words and your thoughts, like you need to pick, like even with teaching, I can remember when I student taught, and I felt nervous. I've never done this before. People were coming in and observing you, and you're like 21 years old. And I mean, it's almost like that fake it till you make it. So you just get up there and you act like you know what you're doing, even though you don't. My first class doing this, like my friends were sitting here. She's my principal. I mean, she's my friend too, but it's like they're watching me do this. I don't know what I'm doing. And you just act like you know what you're doing. And then before you know it, you know what you're doing. So it's not really that hard.
And when somebody asks you a question, you say, that's a very good question. I will find out. That is a very good question. We will find out.
Well, do you want to do our little game thing? And then we can do our other.
And make sure that everybody, the people that came in, did you all get a chance to sign in with a ticket? Because we wanted you to be able to put in a ticket.
And questions. We have a parking lot, so if you didn't get sticky notes, Cass, do you want to go around and if somebody didn't get a ticket or they didn't get sticky notes,
We could probably turn it off. Yeah.
and then you can put 1 ticket in right now with your name on it.
No, that is really good because you have connected with them, and that's the whole idea of your story, is to build that relationship and to connect with people. People want to connect. You want to connect with them. They want to connect with you. So this is called Jim Bob Hagerton.
He's another one of the people that we refer you guys to. He teaches a lot about products, like the supplements. My husband's always watching him to learn about the supplements. But he also has a business. He's a chiropractor from Texas, started using it simply to improve his health. He has his story. You can listen to it sometime on his thing. And then, so he gives you business tips, but mostly I go to him for product education,
That is
honestly.
within you. That's what it says. Always be prepared. Okay, so let's go through a few things that are beneficial. Sorry, my eyes itching. That are beneficial for you when you're getting ready to tell your story. Okay. Now this is your testimony. This is your Young Living story. This is your product use story. Anything, like any of these stories. This is what I want you to do. This is the process I want you to go through as a part of this. First thing I want you to do is I want you to write it out.
So I really encourage you to do that at some point. Not really today, although we'll get you started.
Like I've shared our story so many times
But
that I
go
don't write it
on and
out
do that.
anymore. At the beginning, I journal a lot. And so I use journaling to be able to really work my thoughts out on paper to be able to present certain things, or really work through things that the Lord's talking to me on, to be able to gather my thoughts around that thing, or to get a idea and an understanding of what I need to talk about. Okay, so journaling is a really big part of what I do. But in order to really understand what your story really is, and to be able to notice the things that are unnecessary for you to talk about, or that are redundant, like if you're repeating yourself or whatever, then you need to write it out. And just write the whole thing out. Like write your story out, okay? Then, once you write it out, then what you need to do is now you got to go back through and kind of edit it and make it to where the Lord can take it and you can use it on a dime. Like you can literally use it at the drop of a hat. And there's a couple different ways to do that, but what I want you to do is when you write it out, write out the whole story first, Then I want you to make 3 versions of it. I've taken our team through this training and everything with Lime Time, and our team has gone through this training and is actually, I've had them write out their stories and send them to me, and I have them write 3 different versions of it, and I have them write it down, convert it, 3 different versions, and I've had them send it to me, and I help them develop it compliantly, because even your story, life story or oil story, I mean, it just depends on what you're wanting, either your story with Young Living. If you're not with Young Living, I mean, this is me telling our testimony and our life story. I do this the same way.
He's answering questions on Facebook.
Then you're going to write it in 3 different versions. 3 different versions for 3 different opportunities of when you're going to say it. Okay? Right? So you're going to write out a 60-second version. And I'll give you an example. You're going to write it out in a 5 to 15-minute version. Then you're going to write it out in a half-hour to a full-hour version.
So for me, I wrote it all out first, then I began to condense it out.
And there's 3 different opportunities for what you're sharing. So the 60-second version right here is for someone who's either like on Periscope and you say something to me. You're like, really? You asked what's your story? And I say something real quick and I give you a real quick answer. Or you meet somebody on the street and they ask you about Young Living, or they ask you about your family history, your family story, or they ask you about all of your kids and like, tell me your story about your kids, or whatever it is, right? And so you need to have something that is imprinted on your brain that's a minute or less, because they don't want to hear necessarily, they don't know you yet, they don't need to hear yet the full hour version until you get to know them, until the Lord opens that door. So the initial one is your really quick story. So like, for example, when we're talking on here and I tell you my quick version of our testimony, then the quick version, like the quickest version ever, is thank God. Literally, like, God is graceful, thank God. I mean, like, our whole story is that, right? It's literally an elevator testimony. But the 60-second version, like, even less than that, you know, when people ask me, I say, you know what? We went through a period of time. I went through a period of time when I wasn't seeking the Lord, and we went through marriage struggles. The Lord was graceful. Cindy was forgiving. We worked through it. Then we walked through a time where we lost a child last year, but you know what? God is good, and we've walked out every day since then, thankful for every moment. And that's all of it. I mean, that's like the big chunks of our entire story is, you know what? We had struggle over here. We had struggle here, but God is good. God is good through all of this, and we're walking, we get up every single day, and we do it over again. You know? I mean, that's it. And then they want to hear more. And if they want to hear more, and they're like, man, how? Like, when did that happen? Like, let me buy you a meal. Like, let's talk about this, and you have an opportunity to really, like, pour into them. You're like, I'd love to. I'd love to tell you about all the things that we walked through. I'd love to tell you about how I got introduced to Young Living and the oils. Our Young Living story, like my really short version, when they say, well, how did you get involved? That's right, and we will trust them no matter what. I'll tell you how that came about in a second. So our Young Living story, because we've been in Young Living for like 8 years, almost 9. Yeah, almost 9 years. But we've only been building for like 3 years. We only had an actual team and a business and everything for 3. Now why? Why the split in the time? Well, my story on that is when I tell people, I say, well, you know, we've had our own business in our chiropractic office for about 12 years, a little over 12 years, and we built 2 different birthing centers that we've worked with. So we started using the Thieves Cleaner line. I didn't even really know the difference in the essential oils. From using the Thieves Cleaning line, that's all we really knew, and I thought the company was called Thieves. I didn't know that it was even called Young Living at the time. And we didn't get a follow-up on our kit, and our kit sat in the back of our office for 5.5 years on a shelf, unopened. So we had an opportunity in our family to be able to use it. We opened it up. We had amazing changes with it, and we realized that we were missing out, and we wanted to know if there was more involved. So we got involved, and then now, 3 years later, Young Living supports us financially. Young Living supports our family's immunity, and Young Living supports our office, and so many patients that come in, and we're really thankful for it. We're thankful for the opportunity. There's a really short Young Living story that really takes it from A to Z, right? Now, all the details of that are lengthy, and I could go on for hours about like our stories on different stuff. But at the beginning, when you're really telling your story, you're sharing, and as you're weaving your story in with like your Young Living classes, or when you're just speaking, and like I'll take this last weekend, like I went to Wyoming and was given the opportunity and the honor of speaking with Jacob and Sarah Adamo's group and in their hometown. And when we're talking, as you're speaking, when you really know your story and you've really prayed through it, because here's the other thing that Cindy and I do. We've written our stories down separately. We've read them, okay? We've read them to each other. And then we've really gone through and, let me see what I've got next. Yeah, I talked about this. Hold on. And we've really practiced it. We practiced our story with each other because we've worked through it ourselves, like just talking through our story. We've talked through like all the different parts of it. And because honestly, when you start talking about your story and you share it with your husband or your wife, or you guys really talk it out, or someone else that like loves you anyway, like, so, because here's the thing, if you go somewhere and the first time you ever share your story is in front of a bunch of people that either don't know you or don't love you, then they can be a lot harsher of an audience. They can be less forgiving and less graceful, okay, because they don't know you. Like they don't know you, they don't love you like your family and your friends love you. So when you first start sharing your story, then ask, share if you care. But ask some people if they would let you, like, hey, I really want to work on my story because I want to share what the Lord's done with me. Would you mind if I sit down with you and share my story with this? Because I just want to work on this with me. And it's good practice for you to be able to go through and talk about it, right? And talk about what the Lord's done for you. Now with your Young Living, in order to make it compliant, and in order to make sure that your story is compliant.
And this is probably something that we all struggle with a little bit, is the compliant part.
You can't use names.
So I do want you to hear this part. So you can't
say anymore, like if you're getting commission and you're a wholesaler, you can't say, I had rheumatoid arthritis and Young Living came along and saved my life. You can't do that. You can't say, I had debilitating asthma and horrible immune dysfunction and Hashimoto's, and I used oils and now I'm fine. Like you can't say that part because now you're claiming that the oils and stuff had cured those things, and you're claiming a cure, and that's non-compliant. That creates this gray area. So the way that I talk about it, and this is part of what I'm going to say something else about, like our family story. When we talk about our story with Young Living, and you talk about your story with the oils and stuff, then what you want to look at is you go, okay,
It's really good.
the focus has to be above the wellness line. It has to be on function. So if I take the lungs for example, let's say I had asthma and I'd gotten over it, and I'd use oils to do it, then the way that I would say that is I'd say, a couple of years ago I had a lot of struggle with my respiratory tract, and I had a lot of problems with breathing, and so I really wanted to support my system and support my the way that my body works, and so I was introduced to Young Living essential oils. Well, they have different oils that are for supporting different organ systems, and so I used oils to support my lungs, and I feel so much better, and I have more energy, I have better breathing, and since my body works so much better, and that's why I'm excited to be able to share with you about my Young Living essential oils. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you go into, hey, I want to, see what I'm saying? Right. Hey, I use massage and I use Reiki to help with energies and help balance frequency. And I love the fact that essential oils help to balance frequency and help to clean off those receptors. It's fantastic for what I do. There you go. Hey, I use these for joint support, and it allows me to be the best I can be as I move and work with my grandkids or help my kids or whatever. Hey, I like to function more optimally mentally, and because my job requires a lot of thinking, I want to be able to activate as many of those pathways as I can, so I use essential oils to be able to stimulate and support those pathways. Why do you use Young Living? Well, Young Living has the highest quality control in the world, and they have a process called the seed to seal, and quality matters to me. Why? What's the difference in Young Living and the other? Well, our focus is in a French model. That doesn't matter, but what it means is, we really care about quality, and we own our own farms. So the quality control is really high, and only about 30% of what's actually produced goes to the bottle.
That's amazing too.
It says, after that, if I asked what oils did you use for such and such, can we say? Well, when they ask you about that after, you can say, we can talk about that privately later on, but not in front of a class. Like, then you say, these, what you want to look up is you look up these oils for support. And oils, you can talk about oils I supported my lungs with. You can talk about that. And just make sure you keep it compliant on topical or dietary. But you can't say, I use this oil to fix this thing. Does that make sense? Like, you can't say, I took RC and it fixed this. You can say, yeah, the oils that I like to use for support are these things. That's okay. That's 100% compliant doing that. Now, with telling your story that the Lord has brought you through and telling your testimony of loss, or your testimony of where you've come from, or your testimony of your marriage, and incorporating that in as a part of your story, because it's a huge why. The biggest why for me on why I do what I do, period, like why I travel and speak, or why I do Periscope, or why I do anything else, is because I want you guys to be able to hear my story and the story that we've walked through, and to be able to resonate with things that I've walked out that you can learn from and not have to walk down those roads. I want to be able to talk to you about how hot the burner is so that you won't touch it, so that you don't get burned, so that you have more wisdom, because you can gain wisdom one of two ways. You can gain wisdom by walking it out yourself and making mistakes and learning from them. That's one. The other, though, is you can gain wisdom by listening to someone else who's been there and going, that's good, I'm not going to do that. Or that's good, I'm going to remember that. That's wisdom. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a mic drop. Boom. Like, you can get wisdom two ways. Walking it out yourself, or learning from someone else. Learning from someone else's mistake or someone else's testimony. That's why your story is so huge. Your story has the potential to set someone else free and prevent them from having to walk down a road of pain, a road of struggle. Like your story could prevent them from having to walk all of that different stuff out. And that's huge, right? So one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got from a mentor of mine who I did counseling with years ago, I walked out, okay? Yeah, this is mentoring right now. So one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got from him was, it was the first time I was going to tell my story on a lot of the stuff the Lord had brought me through years ago. And so I was going to tell it to this guys group. Like, this guys group had asked me to tell it at this breakfast meeting. And so, I asked this guy, his name was Fred, and I said, hey Fred, I said, like, I'm struggling with, there's so many things involved with this, and there's so many details, there's all this stuff. And I said, what do I need to give them? Like, what parts do you think are important? Like, help me with my story. Like, help me with part of this. And Fred said something to me that I've never forgotten, and I've always remembered, and I've always kept in the back of my mind. He said, Javon, he said, when you're telling your story, he said, from here on out, this is what he said, he goes, from here on out, you're going to have tons of opportunities and thousands of opportunities to tell your story. Every time when you tell your story, focus less on the details of what you did wrong and more on what the Father did right. That's what he said. He goes, focus less on you and more on him. And if you keep telling your story and you keep making sure it's less about you and more about him, you're fine. That is it. Hello. That's it.
Jim Bob, I really like Jim Bob. He's good. You can find him actually on Facebook. If you don't follow him already, he has a personal page that you can follow. And then he also has the EOC, which is Essential Oils.
The Essential Oil Club or something.
Natalie, I just put you in that.
Some of you I put in that from the beginning, and then other people that are newer to our group, I didn't want to put you in too many groups, so I kind of thought I'd let that be your choice, but it's a good one.
He's also, you can find him on Facebook, and I guess he does Periscope. He talks a lot about Periscope. I don't do Periscope, so I'm not familiar with it, but you can look for him on YouTube. But basically, what this all comes down to is we all have a story. Every single one of us has a story. And then just, when you start sharing your oils and you have a class, the best way really is to just talk about beginning like you do. you know, this is why I'm using it and this is why I love it. And so he talked about it doesn't need to be very long. It doesn't need to be a whole half hour or whatever, 5 minutes, 60 seconds. But what is it that brought you to love these products? Because they're going to identify with that. And Marla made a good point to me in the summer is if you can kind of keep it more broad as to, you know, what other people are struggling with. And for me, when I realized what it was really stress. I was under a tremendous amount of stress. So that was mine. The other thing is practice it. And I have, because I've said I'm a principal, and a lot of you guys know that, so I do a lot of speaking in front of people. So ever since, way back when I have to get up in front and talk to people, I usually practice what I'm going to say in the mirror at home, okay? I practice it. So, and this was been a while ago, and Evan was living at home at the time, but he heard me talking to myself in the bedroom. And he's like, Mom, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? That's what he said. And I said, oh, I'm just, you know, it's convocation the next day, which makes me really nervous. I don't get nervous when it's people like this, although I will tell you that teachers are a tough crowd at times. But, convocation is a little bit nerve-wracking because there's a couple hundred people there, and I wanted to make sure I knew what I was going to say, so I was practicing in front of in the mirror. And so he heard me, and of course he made fun of me, and then my husband made fun of me. But so when I started doing this, remember I said last year in January, I decided in my head I'm making a commitment to do this for a year and see where it goes. I'm gonna make it priority to have a class, and I wasn't sure how to really do a class, and I wasn't really sure about the story and all of that until after convention. But then in the summer when I started working on developing my story, I practiced it, just like he said. I practiced it at home, walking around the house, practicing what I was going to say. So, you know, so that way, like he said, it's imprinted on your brain. So when somebody says to you, why do you do this? You have an answer. You're
And it
prepared
can change.
to answer.
I think that
your story can
it
change.
can be like,
It's fluid.
I got interested because I wanted to start a business because I have dreams, and then as you start using the products, things might happen and will happen in your life, and then you'll have more of a story to share. And if you don't have any story, you can use our stories. As you come to our classes and hear our stories until you get your own.
Like if you just started with your kit or you're just getting it, you're not going to have stories with the oils.
Not so much.
Quite yet.
But maybe you have a story as to why you got the kit,
Right.
you know? But yes, absolutely. So this next part, I just want you to take a couple of minutes, if you would, just to kind of jot down anything that comes to mind that would be your story. And then once you've got something written down, and we're just going to take a few minutes, but I want you to share with somebody.
Just
here in
someone
the room.
beside you
Get
or
up,
whatever.
walk around, go over and say to somebody, you know, I'm going to share a little bit of my story. Because like he said, it's good to share your story with people first before you, have a class. Or if you're having a class, have some friends over and just say, hey, I'm practicing on you today, and so I'm just going to share with you a little bit. And we're going to talk, our next section is going to be about how to have a class. And so the story is a part of it. But just take a few minutes to write down your story, and I would encourage you to share it with somebody.
There's blank paper in there, or flip something over. Or even just some key points like, if someone asks me about these oils because I have them out somewhere, what the heck would I even say to them? Do you know, if you're not to that point where you think you want to have a class yet, but just, what would I say? Why am I even here? Do you know what I mean? And so kind of just some thoughts that come to your mind,
One of the things in the beginning was Michelle invited me to a class, but before she had a class, she was dealing with and I know this is probably not being compliant at this point.
I think he owns a business, and he is a leader he's a diamond, thousands of people are under him. Yet you got to be careful because of the FDA, you can't, but because we don't know.
Well, I don't want to be regulated.
Yeah,
either.
and it's a lot. That's another class.
Yeah, that's a whole nother class.
If I had something, my skin cancer thing. I had not melanoma, but it was squamous cell skin cancer, and they took out a chunk of my foot, my heel, and then instead of getting a skin graft, I used some frankincense. But do I know for sure that I'm pretty darn sure, but I don't know for sure. So if you have that problem and I say, yes, this frankincense will cure your skin problem, that's not compliant, that's not cool. But I can say it supported my skin.
Yes, this worked for me. So so I'm hearing about the oils at school from different teachers and people. I even ordered just a couple of oils, although now in the beginning that person should have just kind of invited me and said, would you like a kit? Because I would have bought a kit that day. So, you never know. We get in our head and we think, okay, I'll just sell this person an oil, or they just want an oil. But had that person said to me, I can tell you about the kit. I would have bought a kit that day, but that's not how it worked out. This person just said, here, why don't you try this oil? This oil might help. So I took it. I thought it did help. I said, I really would like to know more about these oils, but nobody said anything to me. Now, fast forward months, Michelle is coming down saying she's got this, you should see this on her foot, and look what the frankincense is doing. Literally, it is healing it up before our eyes, like every week. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, there is something to these oils. I went home and I told Greg, there's something to these oils.
Do you have pictures of that?
Yeah,
And she didn't need a skin graft. So see, that was my story. Her story was my story.
Her story was mine.
So she has one class. I think you had a first class. I couldn't come.
Last March.
And I was very disappointed that I couldn't come because I had something else going. So then she had another class.
February, Heidi came. March, I did my first.
So I came the very next time, and I came knowing I'm buying a kit because there's something to these oils. And for me, that's just me. I just dove in and did it. But for a lot of months after that, when people would ask me stuff about it, I used her story. Because I was just beginning to get used to using oils. I didn't really have an oil story yet.
And when I first started, I didn't open my kit much, and that's a whole nother, for like a year, and that's a whole other thing. And then I finally started using them, and then when I signed Diane up, and we were shared with another friend at school, I said, well, would you like me to put her under you? And she goes, oh no, I'm never going to sell these. And here I am, I never opened the kit, and she said she was never going to sell them. So, and we're the leaders.
It's true. That's so funny. That's so
You
true.
said, oh no, don't put her under me.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that means, and I'm not doing it. Diane Farrell.
So true.
Yes. And I never, you'd be the last person, not that I just thought you're the principal. Like, I'm sure she's going to do this with me, whatever. And then I said, then after you started using them, I was like, well, you're buying a lot of stuff.
You can get your oils paid for, and I'm like, well, that would be really good.
That's how this kind of evolved.
So, why not?
Now you want to tell the world.
Tell the world. So anyway, take a few minutes. Feel free to get up. We have some snacks. We are going to take a bit of a break here. So, and then, but I do want, and talk to somebody. We really never did formal
It's out. I posted it in our group the other day. I don't even know the name of the movie, but people were talking the bird something. Okay, I have not watched it yet, but people were talking about it. But when you go and people go, oh, did you see that movie? Or my husband will go, oh, did you taste that? That new sandwich at the brewery or whatever it might be. You are advertising, and then you're doing that for free. You're not making any money off of it. You know what I mean? So when we do, when we're doing a business like this, you're actually, when you're sharing, you have a chance to share and enhance someone's life, and plus make a little bit of money from it. So it's a win-win. And there's no wrong way to do it, and you don't have to know everything about it. I mean, you just start using things a little bit, you start sharing some of your successes with people. And when we say class, Cassidy, here, my stepdaughter, if she's going to be starting a new job, or possibly, and she switched jobs. She has her oil out one day, someone asks her something about it, she starts talking, the person's interested.
That's a class.
That's a class, really. You want to meet someone at Panera Bread or down, I keep mentioning the brewery, Que Pasa, wherever, and you meet some friends and they want to know about it one day after work. That can be a class. Diane does a fabulous job, and she uses mostly the starter kit. I tend to use PowerPoints that I find online because my mind pings around and it keeps me more focused and timely. Darla's very artsy, so around Christmas, she did a beautiful job of showing different ways you could package gifts. Marcy's teaches middle school. I notice people's talents. She's great at giving the details of different things. My battery's running low. That's not good, but I have a plug.
Do we need oils?
Yes.
Okay, this is called Light the Fire. Light the Fire. Okay. And it's really good. So you need to try that one as we're plugging in.
So I guess my thing here is that I'm going to share with you how this person, we met this Sarah Johnson, and she is a Royal Crown Diamond in the company.
We got our picture taken with her.
We are under her. She's a lovely person, and her family owns Growing Healthy Homes. It's a publishing company where it's on, it might not be on your list of resources, but as you grow in this, you'll hear us refer to Growing Healthy Homes. That's her mother's company. And I believe, not that it matters, but I think she got in first and then her parents. We met them and they're cute. They're an older couple and they were just like someone's grandma and grandpa you would run into like at Kishman's or something. And here they are, they're these multi-millionaires, you'd never think it. And they were into healthy living and she signed her mom up and then I think her mom surpassed her. It's one of those kind of stories and they've been in it for quite a while and they have this huge group under them and they are just like such down to earth. Like I went up to her and I was like, felt like I was meeting a movie star and I'm like, hi. Oh, she threw her arms around me. Oh yeah, come over here, get your picture with me. You know, it's just weird. It's kind of cool, the different people that you meet, you know? But when you do share with anybody what that might be, one-on-one, small group, or bringing people here, you know, you can just, I'm going to give you, there's a schedule in your folder. I do classes. Diane does classes.
I have a class Monday night at my house at 6:30, so feel free to come and bring somebody.
Yeah, you can bring people, you know, you don't have to, you know, think you have to do this all on your own, you know. And if you do decide you want to try a class on your own, we'll come to your home and do the first class for you, and then we'll help you with the second and third class, and then be there for you. So you're not, you know, there's no wrong way. What else did I want to say? Well, Diane, like she talked about having your story and knowing your why. Your why is, it all kind of connects to me in my head. You know, your why, like why are you doing this? Because you want a different life, because you've had good experiences with the oil. You know, you have to have a why. And I think it is, I know it's important, and I need to work on this, to listen to other people and think about what their needs are. Because we do a lot of talking, but it's important to listen to their needs. So maybe I won't play this whole thing, but this is Sarah, and I thought instead of listening to me the whole time, you guys might enjoy her.
Diamond. And today I would like to share with you how to do my KIST presentation. Now, my KIST presentation is something that I do when I'm introducing someone to Young Living Essential Oils. Now, KIST, it stands for Keep It Super Simple for Easy Duplication. Now, keeping a presentation very simple is very important because not only is it duplicable, but you're going to help instill confidence in that new member in them using their Young Living Essential Oils and also in sharing with someone in the future. Now, back when I first started sharing my Young Living Essential Oils, I would make it too complicated. I was so passionate, so excited about my oils and how my family just loved them. And I had learned so much over the years that, well, I just wanted to share everything I knew with that person. And so that left them reeling because I'd spent all this time just sharing all this information. And they were just brand new to essential oils. And so, you know, they left a little bit, you know, little maybe confused, but really just needing to process. And they would say, well, maybe I need to think about this before I get started. But when I began to simplify how I shared the oils and really let the Young Living Essential Oils speak for themselves, it made people feel a lot more confident in the fact that, wow, I could use these oils. Wow, my family could really, really use these as Young Living Essential Oils. And I think that's something that I could start with right now. And so that's what I want to do, is instill confidence in that new member. And so how do I do my KIST presentation? Well, really it all centers around what Young Living gives us in that very first box we get on our doorstep from FedEx in our premium starter kit. Really, Young Living has provided for us everything that we need in that premium starter kit to share very effectively. And so, of course, in our premium starter kit, we've got the box with the oils and the Ningxia Red samples and the sharing samples, everything we need. We get our product guide, we get the Essential Oils magazine, and of course, we get a diffuser that we select. And so these are the things that I'm going to have when I meet with that one-on-one, you know, that one person, or whenever I go to someone's house and do a presentation in their home. I'm going to bring exactly what they're going to get in their box. Because again, what I'm doing is I'm establishing something that is duplicable. Ultimately, that is duplicable, so they can share with their friends and family, which most people end up doing anyway because the oils work. We love them. They're very effective, and so I'm going to help equip them from the very, very beginning. And so whenever I meet with them, I'm actually not going to preset anything up. I know I've got my diffuser out and going here, but actually I'm going to keep it in the box when I meet with them because I want to pull it out and put it together and put the water in it, put everything in it in front of them so that they can see, oh wow, that is so easy. I can totally do that. Okay?
And just telling you,
So the
I don't do
first
it as
thing
easy as her.
whenever
I should
I
probably
start
listen
off
to her.
with my presentation is I will pull out an essential oil for them to put on. Because normally with that person or that hostess that's hosting me in her home, I will have already shared some of my oils with them and they've already had an experience. Obviously, I've planted a seed for a need enough so that they want to hear more about Young Living essential oils. And so that's an easy lead-in then for me as I sit down with them, whether I'm at a restaurant, a coffee shop, or in my home or in their home. It's a really easy lead-in because I've already given them a sample of the oils, for them to try. And so I'll just open the box right in front of them and I'll say, oh, would you like some more peppermint or would you like some more lavender? Here, let me go ahead and get some for you. We're gonna get started with some oils. And so I open it right in front of them. And of course, we love the box because it tells the Young Living story beautifully and it's very, very impressive. It's gorgeous. It's like you're opening up a present and they get excited as you unveil, the oils. And so right away, I'll just pull out, say, some lavender and I'll let them have a drop of lavender. I'll put some on myself and, and I may say, you may have just had a stressful day at work or you're just needing to kind of chill out for a little bit here as I share with you. So how about everybody try a drop of lavender? And so I'll pass it around for everybody to try or for that one person to try and I'll let them experience it. You guys, we all know our oils work. They're so potent and so amazing. All it takes is for someone to try them. There's a lot of people that may have tried other brands of essential oils and we know that ours are very different and ours are so powerful. All they need to do is try them. Again, let's let the oils speak for themselves. Sometimes we do get in the way of the oils doing what they do best. So let's let them speak for themselves and be the star of the show. So we're going to put a drop on and, and I'll have everybody breathe it in. We're going to inhale the lavender and breathe it in nice and deep and maybe even put a little bit on the back of our neck, our temples, and just really experience that lavender. Whew, and take a nice deep breath and let's really relax and be ready to experience our oils. Okay, so I may share with them a couple ways that I use my lavender, like diffusing it in the evening to kind of wind down the household, or sprinkle a drop or two on my pillow or rub some on the bottom of my feet or on my children's feet to help us to be ready for a good night's sleep. And so then I'll pull out the peppermint because we all know the peppermint's awesome. And for those of y'all that know me, I give peppermint to everybody, and so I'm definitely going to pull out the peppermint. So here's what I'm going to do with my peppermint. I'm going to have a glass of water, for everybody that's sitting there in the hostess's home or with that one-on-one person. I'm going to make sure I'm going to have a glass of water to let them have a taste of their peppermint. We can put it in the drop in the water and drink that down, let them taste it, and talk about how, I love to use the peppermint in recipes. As well as drinking it after a meal, to help support my digestion. And so, or let's say I don't have a glass of water. So I'm going to show that person what I like to do. And if they want to try it, they can. It's very strong, but hey, if they're brave, they can try it. But here's what I like to do. I'll put a drop in my hand and then just touch the tip of my tongue to that drop. Put it to the roof of my mouth and breathe in nice and deep. And let that peppermint just go through everything.
Has anybody ever tried that here?
Just infiltrate.
I did that at one class and then somebody was like, whoa, and then I was afraid to do it again.
Did you do it?
No, another person in the class did.
I did it for brilliant. They're going to experience that and say, oh my goodness sakes, that peppermint is pretty amazing. And you're going to
Because I'm
like
a
to
seed
clear up sometimes.
for need, because they're going to say, I need that peppermint. Okay, so let's let the oils do the talking. Another thing that I might do, I might pull out the pan away. See, I usually really let everybody experience about 4 of the oils, 3 or 4 of the oils. If you have a little extra time, or if you're moving through pretty quickly, you can go through each and every oil if you'd like to. But I really like for them to get a good experience with at least 3 or 4, because guess what? In my continuing education classes, my next class that I will teach my members is my Essential Oils 101 class, and that's when I really go through in more details, more of the oils, more ideas and ways, how to use their oils. And so again, this is an introduction. You're really letting them get their feet wet with their oils, experience these oils, and see and feel the need for these oils in their lives. But anyway, so I'll pick another one. I love Panaway because I love to use it after a workout and rub it on my muscles. And so I'll put a drop and I'll demonstrate that. I'll put it on my legs or on my feet, and then I'll pass it around for everybody to experience. Again, we're going to let the oils speak for themselves. And so now I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So they've experienced, actually I'll just let them experience usually lavender and peppermint. And then I'll say, now let me share with you a little bit more about what essential oils are. And so I'm going to tell them, in this premium starter kit that you're going to get that has all these oils, all these goodies that you see, and we're going to explore that a little more in just a minute. But I want to tell you a little bit about what essential oils are, and actually more about who Young Living is. Because maybe you've heard of essential oils before. You've seen them in your grocery store. You've seen them at the health food store. These Young Living essential oils are different. Okay, so I'm going to tell them what is the difference, and that's when I'm going to pull out the product guide, and I'm going to let them know. This product guide is really cool because it tells Young Living's story, their Seed to Seal story, very beautifully. So I'm going to tell them just a little bit about Gary Young. I'm going to tell them a little bit about Young Living, how it's a 20-year-old company, over 20 years old, and how they're all around the world with farms and distilleries and offices all around the world. See, they're going to see, oh wow, this is a big deal. It's not just, a fad or, a fly-by-night or something new. It's something that's very established. And then I'm going to let them see the farms all around the world, and we're going to talk a little bit about those, and I'll share a few little brief stories about me going to some of these farms. And if you haven't been to any of the farms, well, then you can let them know, oh, my friend Sarah Johnson, she's been to the Highland Flats farm in Naples, Idaho. She's been to the St. Mary's farm in Idaho.
And we've been to the Mona farm.
Yeah, we've been to a lot of the farms, by the way. But that is so cool because, Young Living encourages and invites their distributors to come and see the farms and to work on the farms, and you can show them the pictures and let them know what makes Young Living so different. And then you can talk about the seed to seal process. Now, do you have to read word for word what's here? You don't have to, but guess what? You could. And by you doing this, whether one-on-one or in that class, and you're holding this up and you're flipping through the pages, you're taking a little time, whether you're reading it word for word or you're just summarizing it on your own because you've said it a million times, that's okay. What they're going to do subconsciously, they're going to remember where to find the answers. So that when they get their kit in their FedEx box on their front doorstep and they open that box and they're tearing into the box because they had such an amazing experience with you, and they're opening it up and their husband walks in and said, what is this stuff? Why did you get those? Why'd you get that? Why didn't you just buy the oils at the grocery store or whatever? They're going to have the confidence to say, oh, well, let me tell you, these are different, honey, these are different, and let me show you. And they're going to see that product guide in the box, they're going to pull it out, they're going to open it up to those first, 5 or 6 pages. They're going to tell them all about the Young Living difference, the seed to seal difference. And the farms are going to show them the pictures of the farms. And so guess what? That's their first one-on-one that they just did. It's because they knew where to find the answers. And it was so simple. What you did was so simple in sharing Young Living with them. Their first experience is so important. You've got to make it duplicable. So then I'm going to go into a little bit about what are essential oils. They're the most potent form of the plant. They're the volatile liquids, and they can quickly evaporate or easily absorb. However you want to share in a nutshell what essential oils are. And you have it turned to that page. So again, subconsciously they're thinking, okay, oh, that's where that answer is. Okay, this is a great resource that can give answers for me, for my question. So then the next thing is how to use essential oils. And here it's all listed. The 3 ways to use our Young Living essential oils. And you can go through each of those ways. You know, you start off with aromatic use and using your diffuser. This is when I pull the diffuser out and put the water in, and I demonstrate right there how to get the thing going and get the oils going. And you know, I may put in some purification or one of the other oils that I really, really like. And so they can, again, have the confidence, and when they open up their box, they'll remember, okay, well, Sarah showed me there's some instructions in this box, and okay, this is how I get it going. Okay, confidence is key. And so that's when I'll demonstrate more of the oils for them and how to use them. And so this is when we do really more of that unveiling of this box. And I'm going to let them know, by the way, when you get your premium starter kit, this box in your hands, this is seed to seal in your hands. And I'm going to let them know, by the way, this is our Mona, Utah farm. And when we open up this gorgeous box here, we're going to see all of our oils. And I'm going to let them know, by the way, this is actually a stand to hold your oils upright, which is super cool. So I'm going to get the oils
I never knew that
out.
until I watched this video.
And,
I didn't know that.
A couple years ago, Sarah was like, oh, it does that.
Oils.
Now I know, because I didn't know.
That's when I'll get like the pan away, and so we can rub that on. You know, I may get a couple of other oils out for them to experience, and then I'm going to show them some more about what's in this box. So I'll open it up and show them that they've got an 11th oil in there, the Stress Away. I'm going to share with them the Ningxia Red. You know, this is our juice and essential oil infusion drink, and you know, maybe I'll give everybody a taste of that right then and there. And then I'm going to share with them that their kit will also come with little sample bottles, not only that they can put in their purse to easily carry around and have whenever they need it, but that they could share with someone. And I'm going to show them that there's little samples to share with their family and friends that may need the Young Living oils. And there's also some little sharing cards, and you know, I'll show them how to make the card. I'll make one up and then I'll give it, you know, to the hostess or to someone, or maybe I'll make one up for everybody there that comes to the presentation. And so then I'm going to share with them that they're going to get a lot of resources here, and this is where I'm going to show them that they're going to have this brochure. It has this brochure where they can learn some of the ways to use each and every one of these oils, and that Young Living will give them about maybe 2 or 3, sometimes 4 recommendations on how to get started using their oils. So they can just pick an oil, you know, pick an oil each day and try one of the recommended uses here, and I'll may even pick one out here and for everybody to do. Again, I'm showing them that it's very simple. When they get their oils, it's so easy. They can right away start using their oils with confidence. Okay, so show them that that's in there. Letter from Gary and Mary. You know, if they would love to share these with their family and friends who may love the oils as well, there's a little guide here on how to share it. Love it, share it. And then also I'm going to show them that there's a roadmap on getting started with your Young Living essential oils. And I'm going to let them know that in their Young Living virtual office, when they go online to access their account, there's actually a Young Living University with videos on how to get started using their oils. And I'm not going to go into great detail about that, but I'm going to let them know that Young Living has great resources. They're going to have everything that they need to get started using their oils. And so the other thing that, of course, I will share with them is the Essential Oils magazine. And this is going to come in their premium starter
every,
kit.
3 months.
And this is gorgeous. I'm going to let them know that there's articles, more articles on how to use their essential oils. And guess what? They can use them with their pets. They can use them with their children. And these articles will give them ideas, you know, and just really stir up lots of ideas in many ways to use them. As they read articles about these essential oil users, they'll learn that they can use them to replace the chemicals in their homes. And so anyway, just, you know, don't go through the whole thing, but just show them this comes in with your kit, and you're going to learn a lot more about your Young Living essential oils. And guess what? There's recipes. Make sure you show a recipe. Maybe you even made one of these recipes for your little get together.
Can you order those?
And they're gorgeous recipes with
One
using
comes
their
in
Young
your
Living
kit.
essential
I
oils,
don't
and
know if you
everybody
can
just
order
loves
that,
that.
because after that,
And
you
so
would
let
never
them
get
know that they've got this.
They do have a
in
blog.
their kit.
I don't know if you've
And
seen the
so
blog
then, of
online,
course,
which will have a lot of articles.
I
and
make sure to
recipes.
give everyone an opportunity to actually sign up to get their own premium starter kit. And then whenever I close, I always ask everyone in attendance, even if it's just the one person one-on-one, if they had thought of someone in their life, a family member or a friend or a neighbor that would love to try the Young Living essential oils, then I share with them that I'd love to get together with them. And so I open up my calendar and, we set a date right then and there. So I always walk away with more opportunities to share the Young Living essential oils with someone new. And so that's it in a nutshell. Keep it super simple. Really, this presentation is
So then
30 minutes long, maybe 45 minutes long.
you can find us
That's
on
it.
YouTube. I think I did write it down on your agenda. So you would just look for Sarah. So if you want to watch it again, but really, it really is, you need to just kind of, as you start sharing, come up with your own comfortable way of doing it. And like Michelle said, I do mine a little bit different just because I'm just more comfortable that way. I do more of mine just from the kit, where you're much more comfortable with the PowerPoint. So it's really what you're comfortable with doing. I know Carol, I think you've done it both ways too, PowerPoint and the kits.
There's no wrong way. Heidi, another way she's done it before, you can get these on Oil Revolution Designs. I might have, if I don't have it on our list of resources, I can give it to you. These are about $1, about 99 cents. And it goes through each oil and it explains it. So she's actually at classes and not used any of this. I don't even, have the oils out and use this to go through the oils and read it word for word. And then if they get a kit, she gives this to them. So that's something. I want to show you real quick. This Sarah Harnish, those of you that are in my Facebook group, or if you're not and you want to get in, I'm going to be running a boot camp. This is that lady I like a lot. She has a lot of things for free on here. And it's for sure on your resource list, because this is who really got me started. Okay, so when you Google it, it'll come up like this, oilabilityteam.com. So share, anything under share. Okay, so when I do a PowerPoint, I'm not going to pull it up, but let me see. Here it is. Okay, this is actually Darla's. This is another thing. This is free, and it's on here. Those of you who have been to my house to a 101 class, you know that I use this. And it goes through the picture. I kind of do a combo of what Sarah did, but to keep my mind straight so I don't miss things, I put this up on a PowerPoint. You don't have to do that, but it's free and it's online. If you have access to this, or you want to take like your laptop or a little iPad or something with you if you meet with someone, and it's just there's a little sheet for each, a little slide for each thing she just talked about. So it's just a little way to keep you on track. Or if you don't have access to that, you go and you make a copy of this, and you could just put this with a little ring and have it, to keep your thoughts straight. So that's another little tip that we have figured out. There's a textable class on here you can send to people for free. She also makes, they're not very cheap. She has DVDs, CDs that explain like a 101 class. The really cool thing I like, this is what really got me fired up. She has these boot camps, and I'm going to be posting a boot camp next week. I don't know exactly how she's going to release it. There's the long version that's under this picture. So if you really, and when do I have time to do this? Well, when in the morning when I'm getting ready, I listen to these sometimes. I've listened to them before in the car, like driving to go shopping, or when I'm cleaning the house. I don't just sit here and like look at these videos for hours, because that's just not gonna fly. I don't have time for that. But then she came out with an abridged version. So, and it like day one, it's her story, and it's why start a business. And this goes into more of the nitty gritty that we're not talking about today, but I found this so useful. So I'm going to be doing this boot camp in our Facebook group and have like a question. And if you answer the question, I'm going to have like random drawings, like to give away something. So if you go ahead, and I don't know how often, if she's going to do a video a week, a video a day, a video every 3 days, but I'm going to kind of just follow it. It's going to start Monday. So that's what that's all about.
And I do think she's actually starting one too, isn't she?
I'm going to do it along with her.
Okay.
Because she's going to show us how we can do it with our group. So I thought, let's just go for it.
Okay.
And along with that, those of you who don't have, these are great little books. You can order them on our website. and it's her story and how she got the business started, and then in the back it tells you different uses for the kit, I believe. So if you want to grab one of those if you don't have one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to mention about classes.
She actually writes what she calls her 101 script. So you can read her, she gives it to you in that little book, and she probably has it online too, as a free resource. So, you know, we just watched this other Sarah talk about how she goes through and shares. And this Sarah Harnish, she's got it written down so you can read it. She just suggests reading it. And she says this is what she did when she first started. She wrote it, and then she would just read it in her class as she was sharing with people.
But I guess the main thing is that this is not magic or rocket science.
No.
You basically share, and then rewards is really important, because when most of you I think are on Essential Rewards, but if you're not, I would really consider getting on it. What it is you make a $50 commitment a month, and you're using the product, and then for each level that you increase, if you end up spending $100 or $190, you get free promotions, and every month the promotions change. And in addition to that, if you're on rewards, you get a free oil months 3, 6, 9, and then every year you get a loyalty oil or some special blend. What else? You get cheaper shipping. And then you earn, it's kind of like Kohl's cash back, and there's increments. You start at 10%, 20, and now I'm up to getting 25% back. So every time I get on and spend $100, $25 goes into my free money for products. So when you see around my house all this stuff, besides my checks, that's how I've been able to get it. It's really, really worth it if you want to make a change in your lifestyle.
Plus, I think another important thing, though, to note is if you are planning on, you know, sharing this with some people, you get a $50 thank you check. But in order to get that $50 thank you check, you will have had to have spent $50 in that month, correct? So, you know, if you're thinking, yeah, I want to start this as a business, you need to be placing at least a $50 order a month. Correct?
So down the road, it almost makes sense that you would just be on rewards and be spending your $50 and be getting your money back. And then if you happen to sell a kit that month, then you get your check. Mm-hmm. Now, the only other thing we didn't mention is if you would get people under you ordering monthly for commissions, and we'll get into the details. This was not a day for that, because that's more the nitty gritty little pieces.
Right.
To get commissions, you have to spend $100. But in this business, you could be at the top of the company, be a Royal Crown Diamond. You can look at income disclosure. They really make that much money. And you never have to spend more than $100. You never have to have inventory in your house or anything. And I think the reason they did that, if you think about it, 100 is the first free promo too. So if you get a little team under you, or 5 or 10 customers, you would want to be spending 100, because you would want to get the commission for your sales under you. Then you get the free oil, and then you would get what, 25% back, $25 out of the 100 back.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense to just go ahead and spend the 100. But when I first got into this, I had, like, on my con list, I don't know if you've been writing things, I had much more of a poverty mindset. I was raised in a working class family. My dad always worked overtime. I went through a divorce and raised my girls on my own for 5 years. So I've had to work hard for everything I have. So nothing was ever given to me. So when I first got involved in this, I was like, $100 a month? Are you kidding me? And now, like, I can't even keep it to $100 a month. So, and I look at my parents own the Lion's Den in town, and my brother owns it now, and I think they have insurance, they have heat, they have employees, they have electricity, they have taxes.
All this overhead.
So now I'm like, my mindset has shifted out of that poverty mindset that this is a business. And my gosh, most businesses, brick and mortar businesses, would love to only have to pay $100 for overhead. Mm-hmm. And that $100 is products I'm using. Right. So it really, to me now, I've totally shifted my mindset in that.
And it's replacement buying. It's not like...
Right, you're taking the junk out of your home, like my wallflowers, and I have candles you'll see, but I'm not burning them anymore really. I use them for decoration more or less, and all that stuff. So yeah, it's replacement buying. So it's not magic. You share the oils, you get people, you sell kits. That's how you grow a business. You get the people to get on Essential Rewards, and then you find out if a few people want to share. And it's not who you know, it's who they know. I mean, we have over 200 people in our group in 2 years, and I probably don't know at least 25% of those people. I know them now, but I did not know them because they were friends of friends of friends. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how that goes. So some of the other people, Melissa Pepping is great for self-confidence. We'll be doing some classes in the future with her. The thing coming up at the brewery, the chemical-free home, I'm using some of her recipes for Melissa. Melissa Pepping's great. Sarah, I talked about Sarah. Most of you, we've given you a pocket reference guide. If you don't have one of those, we need to get you one because it's great for looking up information about the oils. Monique McLean has wonderful, and most of these resources, seriously, you guys, they're like $1. And it explains the compensation plan and things. So you have everything to get started in your kit, but as you branch out and want to grow, like I said from the beginning, you can do just a little bit with this and be good and get your oils paid for and you're good. Or if you want to really go like we are, we will definitely take care of you and point you to those resources. So
Absolutely.
So we should watch the KISS video. So let's do a drawing.
Yes, let's do a drawing, and then we have a game.
And then after that, we're going to do our goals and our blockers.
Let's do our game too. We need to do one more.
So there you go. I don't think Stephanie got to put her name in.
Oh, yes, let's have Stephanie's sticker. Yes.
Steph, did you get your name in there?
No, here, we'll get her. So just talk about, getting out of the mindset. Get on this.
And you try these.
Okay, ring your cowbell.
Or if I just step myself.
Okay, guys, as you were thinking, let's be honest with the pros and cons. Like, well, should we share a few pros and a few cons? Like, Cassidy, give us a pro. Like, as you're sitting here listening, like, what was like, yeah, I think I would like to do this. Like, what's a pro? Positive.
Getting all the toxins, eliminating toxic stuff.
Out of your house, getting toxic stuff out of your house. Mercy, give us another pro.
Great support group.
Great support group. Yes, that's a good one. Yep.
One more pro.
So, chemical-free living, getting toxins out, a support group.
Carol, another positive.
Positive, Carol?
It supports so many of our body systems.
It does. It does. Yes.
So, Darla, what would be a con, like, as you sit here, as far as, like, getting involved in this or sharing it? What's something that comes to your mind as a negative?
I wrote down no time.
Okay, so that's a big one. People that feel, yes, you don't have enough time to start a business. That's a good one. Somebody else want to share a con?
Not enough money.
Not enough money. Absolutely.
One more con. Does anyone, Vera, do you have a con? Like,
I was not enough money.
Not enough money.
I didn't feel like.
And Carol, your one that you said, when you said, I can never share because I don't have any friends.
No, it's alright. I signed up for a party and nobody came. But I mean, like, everybody was like, oh, last minute stuff came up, or like, I just couldn't make it.
But you still used your time together.
But yes, so Joanne and I, yes, no one came and that was a bummer, but Joanne and I spent an hour together talking about the business, right?
Yeah.
And just how you can go about sharing. And then about a month later, Joanne shared and got a sign up. Not that particular night, but you got a sign up. So yes, so maybe people won't show up, but we're here. And if you let us know you're having a class, one of us will come. So you're never gonna, I don't want to say never, but we'll try very hard so you would never just be by yourself and like, oh my gosh, no one comes. Because that happens sometimes. People say they're gonna come and then they don't show up. But we can use that time, it can be a positive. We can use that time to talk about, okay, our favorite thing is to talk about oils. And we never get to. I'm down in my office and more than anything, I want to run up to Michelle's room or to Darla or to Carol and talk about oils.
We see each other at Buzz Studio and we're like,
believe it or not, we don't see each other. And usually when they see me coming, they're a little worried because the principal's coming now. So when you have a chance to share oils, it's fun.
So we'll be there to help you.
So we will.
So as you think of these things, though, what we're learning is they really are lies. Because like I've said all day, look at the people who have done this. And not to be mean or anything, but you're going to watch some of these videos and you're going to think, like, hopefully not mine. And if you do, don't hurt my feelings and tell me. But you're going to think, like, really? She sort of seems like a ding-dong. Or that guy is a Royal Crown Diamond?
How can that be?
Right, Heidi? You're going to watch him. And so the point of this is there are people who are at the top of this company from all walks of life. We went to that convention and we saw like little old ladies with walkers that had a little thing around their neck that said silver. And then Darla's looking at me like, over. Did you see that guy? Like he looks like, I mean, he just looked like he didn't fit the mold at all. And here he has
There's no
like
mold.
gold around his neck, you know? I mean, it just doesn't matter. You can be shy, you can be introverted, you can be extroverted, you can be in poverty, you can be very wealthy. It was just all across the board. When we went to convention, there was 40,000 people, I think, there. Not all of them sold. Some of them were just product users and went to go to the classes about products. But it was such a mind opener. So is these things come into your mind, though? We're going to have classes that involve the oils, and the three of us went to an AFT session. Not going to get into it now, but in a nutshell, you smell oils and you change your thinking for positive. Even if you decide you don't want to do the Young Living share, but all of you are going to share. But if you can use it for other things in your life, okay? Just trust us, it can work. And we also heard that, you guys help me with the name, Mel something, Robbins?
Yeah.
Robbins,
And
yeah.
if you don't know who she is, look Mel Robbins up. I don't have her listed. She does a thing called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Most of the time when you're getting ready to clean your house, to do something you're scared to do, you don't want to do, you've been procrastinating. If you can say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and just do it, it can be life-changing. And she does not sell Young Living, she's a user, but she's a motivational speaker, and her life was on the rocks. She was going through a divorce, she thought she was an alcoholic, she had lost her job, and she was watching the TV and she saw a rocket go up. This is a true story. And it was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, they were counting down, and it gave her an idea. And from that idea, she saved her marriage, she became this motivational speaker, and now it's just crazy. But she's written books on that. So the point is, like, don't let those lies, like, hold you down, you know, and whatever you want to do with your life.
Because remember what we said about conscious and subconscious. You know, that plays a big part into moving forward. And so, you know, if you have this vision, you have this dream of where you want to be in a year, and then you start hearing these little, you don't know enough people, or my house isn't good enough, or for me, I never like to have classes at my house because I have no parking.
Pastor Ron believe.
And now
you can't even get that.
And now literally,
I
I
never
would
be able
not
to
have
get that
classes.
again.
Like I would never do a Pampered Chef. I would never do this because I don't have any parking. Well, I worked through that. You know what? People can find a place to park.
They can walk a little bit.
But do you see how that stuff plays on your mind to where you start feeling so insecure about? So yes, we have worked through it, and we'll continue to work through things because we're always hearing those negative voices in our head.
Storms are going to come and go in life. One of these people, this was a quote from them, but the one thing that we have control of is ourselves. We can become better every day. We can choose to believe the lies and not try anything and not get any better and just go to our jobs and get into a rut and miss out on life pretty much. I mean, you might be happy with what you're doing, but like not experience all you can experience, or you can believe the lies, or you can not believe the lies and have some adventures in life. And we're choosing to have some adventures.
Here's another pro too. It's so much more than just oils.
Oh yeah.
Because the relationship piece and the personal growth. I mean, I'm not who I was a year and a half ago, and I hope it's for the better. You know?
Absolutely.
And that piece. I mean, there's people that are lonely that are, just want to break free of some maybe negative friends or family or whatever. But we need people. We were created to be relational beings, and even though we want to hole up sometimes, you need people that are going to say, "Get out of your cave."
So now we're going to give you some Ashton Kutcher.
And this actually walking down. I need to turn it down.
No, it's pretty good.
Okay, it's okay.
Here's to my friend and the Ultimate Choice Award recipient, Ashton Kutcher.
Good looking, but he has great inspirational words a lot of the time. He's doing what he's campaigning for the sex trafficking right now. He took a break from everything and is doing it with sex trafficking, making awareness.
Oh wow!
I'm impressed.
Okay, let's be brutally honest. This is the old guy award. This is like the grandpa award. And after this, I get to go to like the geriatric home. First of all, I don't have a career without you guys. I don't get to do any of the things that I get to do without you. I thought that I thought that it might be interesting. You know, in Hollywood and in the industry and the stuff we do, there's a lot of like insider secrets to keeping your career going, and a lot of insider secrets to making things tick. And I feel like a fraud. My name is actually not even Ashton. Ashton is my middle name. My first name's Chris. And it always has been. And it got changed when I was like 19 and I became an actor. But there were some really amazing things that I learned when I was Chris. And I wanted to share those things with you guys because I think it's helped me be here today. So it's really three things. The first thing is about opportunity. The second thing is about being sexy. And the third thing is about living life. So first, opportunity. I believe that opportunity looks a lot like hard work. When I was 13, I had my first job with my dad carrying shingles up to the roof. And then I got a job washing dishes at a restaurant. And then I got a job in a grocery store deli. And then I got a job in a factory sweeping Cheerio dust off the ground. And I've never had a job in my life that I was better than. I was always just lucky to have a job. And every job I had was a stepping stone to my next job. And I never quit my job until I had my next job. And so opportunities look a lot like work.
Isn't that good? Absolutely.
Number 2, being sexy. The sexiest thing in the entire world is being really smart. And being thoughtful. And being generous. Everything else is crap, I promise you. It's just crap that people try to sell to you to make you feel like less. So don't buy it. Be smart, be thoughtful, and be generous. The third thing is something that I just relearned when I was making this movie about Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs said, when you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way that it is. And that your life is to live your life inside the world and try not to get in too much trouble and maybe get an education and get a job and make some money and have a family. But life can be a lot broader than that when you realize one simple thing. And that is that everything around us that we call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you. And you can build your own things. You can build your own life that other people can live in. So build a life. Don't live one, build one. Find your opportunities and always be sexy. I love you guys.
I just thought that kind of fit.
He just
right. And
first of all, I was very impressed. I didn't know that he is deep like that, you know, and what a great role model. But it's so true, you know. A lot of people think, oh, maybe if I just sell fuel oils, like I'll get rich really quick or something, or any network marketing company. But that's not the case. You know, you've got to work for things that you want. So whatever your vision and dream is, you've got to work for it. And then anybody, you know, we're all smart in our own way. We all have our own gifts. Like Michelle said, there's a lot of different ways to do classes.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of different ways to share. So you just kind of take in what everybody's doing, you watch different people, and then you come up with your own style and practice it. I'm telling you, if you practice it around the house, talk to yourself, your family will think you're crazy, but you will feel comfortable then when you actually go to share, right? So don't be afraid to practice it in the mirror or whatever. I mean, I literally practiced my classes after I got back from convention, because I knew after convention I thought I want to do this a little bit differently and make it my own. So then I sat in my living room and practiced how it was going to go, just so I could get comfortable with it.
And the beauty of it is, since we all do them a little bit different, and personalities are different. As you meet people, you can do some of your own. You can bring some people to my house. You can bring some people to Diane. When we have our bigger events at the brewery, there's just more personalities that different people might fit with, and that just can only benefit all of us, really.
Absolutely.
Can I say something?
Yes, absolutely.
I know one thing, there's always going to be something standing in our way, in our minds. Our house isn't good enough, our house isn't big enough. I have too many dogs. I have too many dogs. Okay, at these classes, da-da-da-da-da. So, I was filled with all this insecurity. My steps needed repaired, my house needed remodeled, nobody's going to come, all these things go in your mind. But when you say to yourself, love people more than those negative things. So why do we share with people? Because we love them and we want to improve their life with God's oils. So when I started thinking that way, so every time those negative things come in my head, I say, nope, I need to love people more than those things negative things that I'm allowing in. And that seems to have really helped me personally.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Anybody else want to share? What's helped them? That's good.
Okay, so 2 different things I want to do, if we have time. I want to share some things on goal setting.
Okay.
And we have a quick little motivational YouTube to end up with. And I didn't know if you guys want to or not. One of the 12 Days of Diamond men on there, his name is Ryan Hayes. He gets it just was such an aha moment to me, the financial piece of it. We could see how long it is, or do you want to do
it at the end?
Do it at the end. So yeah, we could do that at the end if you want to go, or if you want to stay and watch that. That sounds like a great idea. So is this goal jogger worksheet? What this is, we could do we don't even have to do this here, but we can give this to you if you want to start on it. Is you set goals, it's a new year. We have these resolutions that we want to make. But then why do you think we break them? We all do. Well, I think the biggest thing is we don't set like small manageable pieces. Like when I talked at the beginning about finding those little nuggets or like little diamonds, those little 10-minute fragments of time to do things. So you have to think about, okay, I want to get up earlier so that I can get a fresh start to my day. Well, I start by, getting up maybe 10 minutes earlier and then maybe a half an hour earlier. Do little things. Same thing with eating better. I'm going to try to not eat as much sugar. I'm going to try to get to the why. You think of little steps that you can take. So what this sheet does is and the cool thing is, it sets it up. This is another class, the ULA, all the pieces of your life, your friends, your family, your faith, your finances, your field is your job. It tells you to pick 3 of them to focus on. And focus on, let's just look at it till the summer. So it tells you to write a small, how does it make you feel to be strong in, say,
Field.
Field.
That's what we're talking about today. Field, your business, the Young Living business.
So what is a small manageable step you can do to create the field? Okay, how does it make you feel to be strong? Well, I feel confident. I'm sharing with people. I feel successful. Some words that would describe that. You could jot those down. Now, what's a small step to get you there? Well, I'm going to get on my virtual office, even if I've never signed anybody up, and I'm going to do a little reading about this company, 10 minutes a day. A small little thing you could do. Or if you've sold to a few people, I'm going to check in on those people, maybe.
Or, and Joanne, you shared with me the other day, do you want to share what your goal is for with your clients, like for this month?
Yes, every person that I come in contact with at the spa, if I have more than 10 minutes with them, I'm going to try to just say one thing about Young Living essential oils or products, because I do a lot of waxing, but I do a lot of waxing in other areas as well, and I found out that, very kind of personal, but I was just like, I get razor burn, and lavender oil helps my razor burn. So I've been telling people about that, but that's also getting on the subject of Young Living oils. And then, I incorporate it with my facials, but yes, I'm trying to tell every person I come in contact with at my work, the staff, like my clients, and just everybody about one thing I know about the oils or products.
That's a great goal.
Yeah.
Yep, and a great little step to get you to where you want to be. So this breaks this down, and you just pick 3 areas so it's not so overwhelming. And then it says on here to set a reminder on your phone for the 15th. I think the person that did this class did it like maybe New Year's Eve or something. So you could give yourself a few more days and just check in with yourself, because that would be. Because it takes, I know why they did that. It takes doing something for about 3 weeks to make real change. Like if you're going to do fitness or you're going to try to eat better, until you do something for 3 weeks, it doesn't really start switching off in your brain, you know, that it's going to be something that will be sustainable. And then it says to set another reminder for March 15th, because that's the halfway point to summer. So you're setting these goals from now until summer, some positive changes you want to make in your life. So, and then it has a place right here where you can write down your vision for yourself. Anything else you think?
So we'll pass this out. This isn't already in their folder?
No.
Okay. So we just want to pass that around. So I just encourage you to do that. Set a goal for this month, to talk to a couple of people or to have a class, and then call us and we'll come and help you.
Michelle, your little doggy's growling at the door. Is that a signal that he would?
Sometimes they're just bored, but you can.
Okay.
But
I didn't know if that was like a signal.
the cash, you want to go ahead and let's see if they'll go out just in case. Fight or accept it. What is your why?
Mia.
You can always look it up.
It should be more at the top, shouldn't it?
I'm probably going too fast.
Or like
Fight for your dreams, best motivational speech. Is that 12 minutes?
I don't know. I don't know why I said that. What is your why? Let's give them a minute to look at their thing. I'll look it up and just see what shows up. Fight or accept it. What is your why?
It's right there.
It's right there.
It's right at the top.
Oh, nice.
No,
It was that
You
one.
go ahead.
Okay, and then we're going to do this.
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, wait. No. Yeah.
To finding your calling, it has.
Diversity. That's good.
The reason I'm here is I dreamed big dreams. I dreamed the kind of dreams that other people said would not be possible. I'm also living proof. This isn't a Hollywood movie. I come literally from the other side of the tracks. If you saw where I grew up and we took a picture of it, the neighborhood, the setting, you say it's impossible that someone could come from there and get here. But it is possible. And not to sound too trite, if you dream big and surround yourself with great people and leave your ego at the door and share success with others and have a little luck along the way, you can do anything. But there will be people along the way, and I remember this, who will say to you, you know, you're dreaming too big. It's not possible. Those things just can't happen. Don't allow anyone, friend, family, acquaintance, teachers, whoever it is, don't allow anyone to tell you that what you are dreaming for yourself and your family is not possible. It is possible. Don't be one of those people 20 years from now are going to be walking around in a 9-to-5 job, miserable and angry and bitter because you let your dreams get away from you because you did not believe strongly enough in yourself and what was possible. Don't allow that to happen. And I can't encourage you enough to continue to think that things are possible and that your dreams can come true. And as it relates to finding your calling, it has to be linked to something that you are so passionate and crazed about that you're willing to knock down walls and climb mountains and do the things that are going to put yourself in a position of sacrificing so many other things for its success. And you can only do that when there's a compelling underlying feeling that you have that this is something I'm going to fight to the death for. And I think you can't really succeed at the levels that you want to unless you find that thing that you're so passionate, excited, and in love with. And I think because you've got it along the way, you're going to have to convince so many other people to believe in you and the idea and the opportunity and the struggle and the obstacles that are going to come can only be overcome by this passion that you have, in which you're going to be able to get people to follow you over those hurdles. I know it sounds a little bit sophomoric, but it's so true.
Dream big. And then dream bigger.
When you know within yourself that there's something you want to do, and I believe that all of us are born with a purpose, that all of us have something that we are supposed to do, that all of us have some goodness within us, and that goodness gives us a responsibility to manifest our greatness. And when you know that, you can feel it in your guts, and you know that you're deliberately operating below your potential, you've gotten comfortable, you stop expanding, you stop stretching, you stop challenging yourself. Let me share something else with you. Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, but it's necessary. It's necessary that you have it, that you work on it, that you develop yourself, that you go for what is yours in the universe. You decide, I'm not going to settle for this. This is not going to be it for my life. I deserve more than this. See, that will start making you do some stuff. See, a lot of people go to work every day miserable, and all they do is just talk about how miserable they are. But they don't do anything about it. You must have faith. You've got to believe in yourself. It's possible that we can have our dream. Yes, it is. Other people have done it, then we can do it. We failed a lot of times. Well, a lot of other folks failed, and eventually they came back and they succeeded. So it's possible we can have what we want. And we know that we want to get it. It's necessary that we align ourselves with people that think like we do. It's necessary we get negative, do-nothing people out of our lives. It's necessary we never stop learning and growing and developing ourselves. It's necessary that we never give up. Never give up.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. You got a dream, you gotta protect it. People can't do something themselves, they wanna tell you you can't do it. You want something, go and get it. Period.
A friend of mine he runs a marathon. He says, when he's running the 26-mile marathon, he said, let's say that hypothetically, that 18th mile is the wall. He said, Les, when you get there and you're running, he says, everything in you is telling you to stop, to give up. Every muscle is aching. And you're saying to yourself, I can't do it. I can't do it. And you just keep on and you keep on and you keep on. It seems like you're moving in slow motion. And then eventually when you break through that 18-mile wall, then you know it's like done and you're on automatic and you glide on in. And you know it's there. You know you're going to get to the finish line. And we've all had experiences where we were working on something and we knew it was possible. And we did those things that were necessary to bring it into reality. We took the responsibility to make it happen. Other people couldn't see it. A lot of people didn't believe it. You were attacked. You were criticized. People were opposing you. But you kept on doing it. It was hard. It was rough. It was difficult. But to you, it was worth it. And eventually you got to a level you know, there's nothing stopping me now. I'm